Hello everybody! You already know who I am, but I'm going to say it anyway. This is MareBear62990 here with my first commentary. Now the video I'm going to be commentating on is by Andreas, aka BuzzMusic100. Now, Andreas made a review of SpongeBob's Last Stand, and not a very positive one at that. Now I have to say I actually thought this video was overall very well put together, and I could tell Andreas put a lot of effort into making it. With that being said, the review is not without its flaws. For one thing, when I watched this video, I couldn't help but wonder if maybe Andreas just didn't really know what to hate about this special, so he just nitpicked about a bunch of stuff. And second, he kind of comes off to me as a SpongeBob nostalgic. For those of you who don't know what I mean by that, a SpongeBob nostalgic is someone who loves the old episodes of SpongeBob and hates the new ones, and because of that, they don't think the old episodes have any issues, when in reality, according to this guy's opinion of this particular special, they do. So, let's get to this, shall we?
Hello, I am Andreas, and this is my review of SpongeBob's Last Stand. I like the old SpongeBob episodes, and I am very disappointed with the newer ones. This special episode, called SpongeBob's Last Stand, was one of those episodes that I think is even worse than usual. I think that this might even be worse than Atlantis SquarePantis, so I thought that this would be the perfect episode for me to review. Let's get right to it.
Okay, stop. Two problems. First of all, Andreas, if you're going to talk about liking the old episodes and hating the new ones without explaining why bring it up at all? You're only making yourself sound like a SpongeBob nostalgic, as I mentioned earlier. And second of all, you say let's get right to it, but guess what? You don't. You're just going to spend the next 30 seconds of this video talking about your thoughts on the post-movie episodes in general and your least favorite episodes. So, because of that, I'm just going to skip ahead to the part where he actually gets to the review.
We start off with SpongeBob and Patrick at Jellyfish Fields, but they have to get through the entrance first by showing their jellyfish cards to the ranger. Take a look at this guy. Am I the only one who really dislikes it when the writers make every background character as bored as possible? It's not funny, and it makes me feel like the guy, bored. This seems to be a recurring thing in most newer SpongeBob episodes.
Like which ones? If you don't give examples, you sound like you just made this stuff up as an excuse to hate the newer episodes. Plus, I love how you insinuate the background characters look bored only in the new episodes. Hey, I've seen plenty of season 1 through 3 episodes where the background characters look bored. For instance, a lot of the boarding school episodes that show students sitting in class looking bored to the point of falling asleep. Case in point, Hall Monitor.
So anyway, later we get the first song in this episode.
You mean the jellyfishing song?
That's the one.
I really dislike this song. I usually like serious songs more than silly songs, but I'm still okay with silly songs. But if you're going to do one, you've got to do it right. This song is done terribly. For a silly song, you need good, creatively rhyming lyrics. Let's take a listen.
Jelly, lolly, lolly, jelly, jelly, lolly, lolly, jelly, it's a jellyfishing song. Jelly, lolly, lolly, jelly, jelly, lolly, lolly, jelly, everyone sing along.
There is probably nothing worse than rhyming song with sing-along.
The camping episode does the exact same thing. Just thought I'd remind you.
After that, we find out the conflict. Apparently, there will be a new superhighway built over Jellyfish Fields. Take a look at this amazing introduction to the plot.
I mean for all these jellyfish! For us! For Jellyfish Field! Sorry.
Yep, as you probably guessed, this episode has very poor humor.
To you, to other people, including myself, this special might have actually had some decent humor. Andreas, why do you assume that just because you think something isn't funny means no one else will?
I can't really explain it, it's just not that funny when it tries to be. I'm sorry for being so non-descriptive, but you kind of have to see the episode to know what I'm talking about.
I have seen the special, but even if I hadn't, watching it wouldn't help me see your point. Because again, like I said, humor is subjective. Not everyone is going to have the same opinion as you.
Moving on, SpongeBob spends some time warning everybody about the highway and trying to get them to help. Okay, two things. First, what's up with Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy? They seem so lazy and stupid here.
Okay, lazy I get, but stupid? How? How does a character looking bored make them seem stupid?
Here. Like I said earlier, being bored is not funny, and it makes the viewers bored too.
And like I said earlier, what's funny and what isn't is only a matter of opinion. Andreas, stop acting like everyone else is supposed to have the exact same views as you on everything.
Second, why the heck did SpongeBob not ask Sandy? She's a scientist who would probably care about the ecosystem. Also, she's smarter than SpongeBob. Why wasn't she in this sequence?
Okay, I get what you're saying to a degree, that it would have made more sense to have Sandy in this scene instead of Larry or Merman and Barnacle Boy, since she's part of the main cast and the latter two are just supporting characters. But there's just one small problem. Sandy's in the last 2 minutes of this episode when the story's resolved, as you can see in your video, so it's my assumption that SpongeBob did talk to her, so why complain about it?
And so we get a conveniently timed flashback of the town approving the highway plan. And apparently there's a new mayor. He's not nearly as cool as the old mayor.
How? Are you going to elaborate on this?
But don't worry, because we find out in the drive-thru episode that the old mayor got re-elected. Anyway, Mr. Krabs acted kind of dumb in the flashback. And after that sequence, Mr. Krabs gives...
The people who haven't seen this episode are going to have no idea what you're talking about when you say Mr. Krabs acted dumb. Because you're talking over that part.
Lie on me back and sauce, lol.
He's getting less in character. I don't like him as much in the new episodes.
Imagine that. Also, what was the point of that editing a little while back?
Of the highway, and we get a new song called Give Jellyfish Fields Its Hands. Oh, I get it, a John Lennon reference. Well, this should be good. Actually, I think this song is worse than the jellyfishing song. I'm pretty sure this whole song is supposed to be a reference to Give Peace a Chance by John Lennon. In fact, John Lennon is actually my favorite Beatle, but I'd much rather have a good song than a reference.
I'm assuming by reference you mean parody. And if that's the case, you think all song parodies are bad? Why shouldn't this show be allowed to parody songs? Other shows do this a lot. The Simpsons does it all the time, and it's one of the most popular shows on TV right now. Heck, Weird Al Yankovic does this for a living, and he's one of the most popular comedy songwriters. He would be pretty unhappy with you right now.
Why is this song terrible? Well, I'll explain. The verses are nothing but random rhyming things and nothing else. I'm serious. Nothing but that. How creative can you get?
Ketchup, puddle, nut, and guggle, tool booth, rotten tooth, freeway plan, toast and jam, mermaid man, garbage can.
I think maybe this is supposed to be funny.
Usually if the writers try to be random, then yes, that's the idea.
SpongeBob says to Plankton,
If you're gonna pave over jellyfish fields, you're gonna have to pave over me first!
I'm sure this will be an epic fight scene, but instead we get suspense and a flattened, paved over SpongeBob. The writers can't do anything epic.
True, anyone who's expecting this to be an epic fight scene probably walked away disappointed. But the truth is, this episode really wasn't supposed to have any epic scenes. I think it was just written as an Earth Day themed special, trying to convey a positive message to its viewers that we can all work together to help save the environment. And you mentioned this later in the video.
We then see Jellyfish Fields turning into the evil side of the county line from the SpongeBob movie, in an attempt to teach kids that if you make a highway, the sky will turn gray and nothing will be green.
Ha ha ha. You know as well as I do that that's not what the writers were trying to convey at all. Just like in the movie, during any dramatic or serious scene in a cartoon, the background colors typically aren't going to be bright and cheerful.
I kind of like the scene afterwards of SpongeBob walking sadly with Squidward. Even though his crying is annoying, I feel his pain.
Oh, you think his crying was annoying in this episode? Try watching All That Glitters and then talk to me about that.
In this scene, and right after that we see the jellyfish coming to Bikini Bottom to seek revenge. When SpongeBob finds a news reporter, he gets the attention of the citizens of Bikini Bottom and says what he was trying to say this whole episode.
We need to get jellyfish fields back to the jellyfish! If we restore their natural habitat, then they will go in peace. And balance will once again be restored to our land. So what do you say, everybody? Will ya help me?
No!
You're kidding, right?
Yes!
So SpongeBob tries to use a vehicle to destroy the superhighway.
Technically, it's called a bulldozer. I know I'm the one who's being nitpicky now, but still.
Highway, but then it is revealed by Plankton that the highway is indestructible. So then some other folks try to help. And this little thing Patrick does,
Shoot, shoot, shoot!
it's just awesome. It's kind of hard to destroy the highway, so then the whole town helps pushing.
Wait! I didn't count on all of you working together!
Doesn't that seem like a hidden message to kids, that the environment can get saved if we all work together? Because the choice of words makes it so obvious, and it seems kind of... I don't know the word. Cheesy, I guess?
Hey, at least unlike a lot of episodes, this episode actually has a moral. What do you care if it's stated directly? Really young viewers watch this show too, so they'll be able to understand it.
Well done, up. Plankton once again died.
The ending is the whole town dancing and singing the jellyfish song. The end. So why is this a bad episode? I admit that a lot of things I said were just nitpicks that don't really matter too much.
I'm happy you admit that, Andreas, but let me tell you something. According to dictionary.com, a nitpick is a carping, petty criticism. In other words, a small, very tiny complaint that shouldn't affect someone's overall enjoyment of a TV show or episode in general. And, by the way you've been talking about this special, all these nitpicks seem to have ruined your enjoyment for this episode completely.
Other things like the humor and bored expressions are present in a lot of other episodes, but there is a reason I really dislike this episode in particular. What is it, you ask? Well, let's take a look at the story. There aren't really any twists in it. It's just a bunch of protesting and then it's all wrapped up at the very end.
Really? Because I wasn't expecting the highway to actually be built when I first saw this episode. And now I'm going to skip over the part where he compares this episode to the Clash of Triton, which once again really has no point of being there other than to be a filler for his video.
But in SpongeBob's Last Stand, first we find out about the highway, then we find out that it's Plankton's evil plan, then for the longest time not much happens. It's just protesting the establishment of the highway and more protesting.
Not much happens in Chocolate with Nuts. It's just SpongeBob and Patrick going door to door selling candy bars and losing money up to the very end. Not much happens in Wet Painters. It's just SpongeBob and Patrick getting hired by Mr. Krabs to paint his house and then spending time trying to get a drop of paint off his first dollar. Andreas, I have a question for you. Do you really care all that much if an episode has a simplistic plot? Plenty of these are in the older episodes that you claim you like.
The redeeming quality is that this wasn't too boring or annoying. That seems to be a flaw in most newer SpongeBob episodes. It's the reason Boating Buddies is my least favorite. Luckily, this episode doesn't suffer from that curse.
Really? That's it? What about the other things you said you liked about this episode, like the joke of Plankton being stuck in the chum bucket, literally, and the scene with Squidward and SpongeBob walking away sadly you mentioned? Did you just forget about what you wrote?
So overall, this gets a 4 out of 10. Not my least favorite episode, but quite bad. Also, this could have been the last episode of the series. They might have actually done that, but sadly, they didn't end it just then. More bad episodes came later. I'm Andreas, signing off. Hope you enjoyed this review.
And that's the end of his video. I know this is his opinion on the special, but I couldn't help but notice that a lot of points he made could easily be made about a lot of the older episodes. And Andreas never acknowledges this. And also, Andreas, quit acting like everybody has to have the exact same opinion as you. I'm sorry, but society just doesn't work that way. But overall, I appreciate the effort you put into this video, but I just thought I'd point out these criticisms to help you with your future videos. This is MaryBear62990 saying have a good day.